when HBO announced that they'll be making a prequel to their popular fantasy drama Game of Thrones, fans became hopeful and eager once again. But did you know before House of the Dragon, HBO spent $30 million on a Game of Thrones prequel with Naomi Watts that was canceled? For today's video, we'll be talking about this scrapped series and other news you need to know about House of the Dragon. Stay tuned to know more. Before House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones scraps prequel starring Naomi Watts. Although all eyes are focused on House of Dragons right now with its trailer recently dropped last October, some fans are only finding out that there was supposed to be another Game of Thrones prequel which got scrapped off the board. This particular sequel was a collaboration between Jane Goldman and A Song of Ice and Fire novelist George R.R. Martin, the Academy Award nominee Naomi Watts in the lead role. The scrubbed prequel was set to revolve around the Age of Heroes and the first ever battle between Man and White Walker. This prequel was greenlit way ahead of GOT's final season back in 2018 and was commissioned by HBO, wherein filming and production of the prequel was already underway. This particular storyline of Westeros history was dominated by heroic entities such as Bran the Builder, credited with creating the Wall, and Lann the Clever, credited with founding House Lannister. HBO's logline of the series read, "Only one thing is for sure. From the horrifying secrets of Westeros history to the true origin of the White Walkers, the mysteries of the East to the Starks of legend, it's not the story we think we know." Game of Thrones has just aired its season finale back in May of 2018 when The Hollywood Reporter caught up with HBO's chief content officer, Casey Bloys, asking for hints on what could happen in the Game of Thrones universe. But so far, the COO didn't want to give out specifics on the project, just the fact that they will start shooting by June of 2018. "We're shooting the pilot in June. You can do the math and figure out when it would be on the air," Bloys told The Hollywood Reporter in the interview. "What I'm not doing is working backward by saying this has to be on the air by this date. We want to do the best show possible. This is a pilot, so we're doing it the old-fashioned way, which is shooting a pilot. My expectation is it'll be great, we'll move forward, and it'll move along on a regular TV timetable. I don't want to speculate any dates." According to wikiofthrones.com, this canceled prequel was titled Blood Moon, wherein the actress was supposed to work alongside Miranda Richardson, Joshua Whitehouse, Marquise Rodriguez, Jamie Campbell Bower, Denise Gow, and many more. But in late October of the same year, news broke out that this prequel will not push through, and Goldman already informed the cast members via email of the unfortunate announcement. "After careful consideration, we've decided not to move forward to this series with the untitled Game of Thrones prequel. We thank Jane Goldman, S.J. Clarkson, and the talented cast and crew for all their hard work and dedication," HBO expressed during the announcement of the project's cancellation. Unfortunately, HBO was not impressed with the prequel, despite suffering a lot of reshooting, recasting, and redevelopment. According to different sources, the networking giant wasn't thrilled at the pilot, which is led by Watts. What's probably the most frustrating thing to know about the Would Have Been series is that HBO already spent a staggering $30 million on the pilot alone, according to Tinderbox, HBO's ruthless pursuit of new frontiers by James Andrew Miller. The same day they announced the cancellation, news came shortly that the cable network is working on a deal to produce another pilot based in the Game of Thrones universe under George R.R. Martin and Ryan J. Coogler. At the time, the pilot was described as a vision aligned with Jon Snow and Daenerys Targaryen's storyline, which now came to be known as House of the Dragon. This newly pitched series is also derived from Martin's 2018 novel Fire and Blood. But Bob Greenblatt, the former Warner Media chairman and Tinderbox, cites another reason why HBO chose this title instead of the previous one. "They had spent over $30 million on a Game of Thrones prequel pilot when I got there," Greenblatt says in Miller's book, "and when I saw a cut of it a few months after I arrived, I said to HBO Chief Content Officer Casey Bloys, this just doesn't work, and I don't think it delivers on the premise of the original series." And he didn't disagree, which actually was a relief. So we unfortunately decided to pull the plug on it. There was enormous pressure to get it right, and I don't think it would have worked. Aside from that, the executive also reasoned that they didn't want to spend another expensive failed pilot. "I'm the one who encouraged Casey to greenlight it to series," Greenblatt revealed. "I said, let's not risk $30 million on a pilot. You can't spend $30 million on a pilot and then not pick it up. So I said, let's not make a pilot, let's just get a great series that we feel good about and just make it. Or not. They made the first pilot because they were protecting their own downside and protecting their brand, which I understand, but it was critical that we somehow continue that franchise and move quickly, which meant getting the series into production ASAP. Naomi Watts was excited to work on the Game of Thrones prequel. The Australian actress was ecstatic to be a part of Martin's series and even promised fans that they won't be let down by Martin and Goldman's collaboration. In an interview with the Associated Press, Watts said she was excited and has goosebumps all over working on the series, which she describes as intimidating and very exciting. Having just come off the last series where the world was blowing up over it, the actress comments on working in the spinoff, everything was Game of Thrones related. All the advertising on TV, every article, everyone's jumping on that bandwagon. So it is scary. She further added, hopefully those fans come along and get to find something new and interesting in this world as well. I think they won't be let down. It's a great team of people they've put together. It wasn't until last year that the actress broke her silence about the discontinued series. In an interview with news.au.com, Watts revealed some of her thoughts about the show and said she felt the pain of the fans and viewers were looking forward to it. I feel your pain. I equally got into it, the actress confessed. I wasn't a huge fan and hadn't seen the shows until I was hired and then completely binged everything within the space of a couple of months, and it's just wonderful. In a separate interview with Colander, she sang praises of how fantastic and brilliant Jane Goldman was and how it was such a shame that it got canceled. Such a shame because she really kind of got me into that world that I never thought I would be a part of. Such a shame because she, Goldman, really kind of got me into that world that I never thought I'd be a part of. As much as she could talk about the showrunner, the actress also revealed that she couldn't speak about the show, most probably bound by her non-disclosure agreement. I can't say anything, Watts revealed. It's funny because I have an Instagram account and I found something in my memories picture that come up, and it was when I was there in costume, and I was like, oh, this would be so fun to post. And I was like, nope, I can't do that. I'll get into so much trouble. Just the costume, you know? I wasn't thinking about what I was wearing, it was what I was doing. But anyway, not allowed to say, she said. Game of Thrones creator also saddened at HBO's decision in retracting the series. After HBO announced the Watts-led series, the Song of Ice and Fire author also expressed his disappointment when he took to social media some of his thoughts. Goes without saying that I was saddened to hear the show would not be going to series, the author wrote on his blog following the announcement. Jane Goldman is a terrific screenwriter and I enjoyed brainstorming with her, he added. Aside from that, the author, who is dubbed as the American Tolkien, also believed that the show being canceled is not tied to the other prequel being greenlit. I do not think it had to do with House of the Dragon, Martin wrote. This was never an either-or situation. If television has room enough for multiple CISs and Chicago shows, well, Westeros and Essos are a lot bigger, with thousands of years of history and enough tales and legends of characters for a dozen shows. But the author did promise to finish his much-delayed and multi-volume work titled The Winds of Winter, which will be released sometime in 2023. The book will offer different endings to the characters on Game of Thrones, of which many fans were disappointed with upon seeing the final episode of the show. And with that, we're wrapping up today's video about the canceled Game of Thrones prequel starring Naomi Watts. What are your thoughts about this canceled series? Let us know in the comments below. Before you go, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, notification bell on, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks for watching.